Welcome to Stuff Lab. I'm Gwen.
And I'm Brownie.
Yes, as you can tell, there's no Marty today, so we can all rejoice. Yay! So, it's Monday. You know what Monday means?
Monday. One day until Taco Tuesday.
That is correct, but it also means facts.
Oh, facts.
Oh, facts.
They're not opinions, they're facts.
They're facts. Well, they're facts as of when I wrote them down.
That is as good a disclaimer as you'll ever get.
I know it. All right. So, do you want to try and guess what we're doing facts about?
Oh, well, it's usually an animal, so I'm going to guess steak.
No.
Not steak facts.
Not
Why
steak
did you
facts.
not invite pizza facts?
Nope.
Is it food?
No. I mean, technically, yes.
Is it soup?
It could be soup.
What do you make soup out of? Chicken.
Nope.
Not chickens? I give up.
The giant tortoise, specifically the Galapagos.
Galapagos turtle boy.
It is Galapagos turtle boys. So, obviously, they're from the Galapagos, which is... Holy shit, what's this?
That's the crop option. You gotta hit this.
It's the Galapagos tortoise.
Very good.
Very good. So, obviously, Galapagos is where they live. It is down over here.
I honestly did not know that's where the Galapagos were. I thought it was near Africa.
No, but there are also giant tortoises that live over in the Indian Ocean side. That's what specifically the Galapagos ones we're talking about.
Okay, I see.
The other boys live over here somewhere.
Very interesting.
The good boys we're looking at live over here.
Like, that picture, the one looks real angry. He's like, hey, I'm from the Galapagos. Okay? Well, I already learned one thing today, and that is a fact.
Yes. So, they only live on the 7 islands due west of the mainland Ecuador. That's where they're native to.
Okay.
You don't find these ones anywhere else. So description, as you can see,
Oh, he's got such a handsome face.
does have a
He's
handsome
like,
face.
this is my good side. Don't look at this side.
This side is the good side. This is the smooching cheek. Right here. Right here. That's where the smoochies go.
He probably gets all the tortoise smoochies.
Possibly. He has to wait a while for them, though.
Oh my goodness.
There are a couple different varieties. There's estimated at maximum that there are 15 species of Galapagos tortoise.
Dang, that's a lot for one little island chain.
It is. If they live in humid highlands, they're larger with domed shells and short necks. If they live in dry lowlands, they're smaller with saddleback shells and a longer neck.
Interesting.
So this one is more domed.
Okay.
The saddleback ones will come up, dip a little bit, and then go back up.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say he looks like he's got a long neck, and this is the shorter of the neck varieties.
Yes.
I don't want to see what the long neck looks like. Just a brontosaur with a shell.
Kind of. They got stumpy legs.
I know that problem all too well.
Oh, same. Length. We're going max length here.
That's from boop snoot to tail, or?
From what I can tell, it's just on their carapace, so from here going back to the end of their shell.
Oh goodness, 2 feet.
No.
Is that way too small?
Way too small.
Oh my gosh, 9 feet.
Too much.
6 feet.
6.1 feet going across the carapace.
That is a big ass turtle.
It is.
Tortoise, I apologize.
Back in the day, people used to just sit on them and ride them around because they had poor hearing, so they wouldn't hear people walking up to them.
The settlers used to ride these bad boys all over the place.
Charles Darwin did.
That's funny. You know the SpongeBob joke I'm referencing, right?
Nope.
When, it's the Krusty Krab pizza episode, classic episode. Not that this is gonna make it in, but
You're just trying to make this a pizza fact video.
Squidward and SpongeBob get lost, and SpongeBob finds a rock, and he's like, "The settlers used to ride these boys all over the place," and then they ride around on a giant rock.
Well, same concept.
Exactly. That rock is faster, I bet.
Yeah, I can tell you already that it is.
Okay.
Weight.
Wait, if it's 6 feet long, it's got to be like 300 pounds.
So the maximum poundage for the modern giant tortoise.
Oh, this isn't like the Victorian tortoise. It's the modern one.
Well, because, science wasn't very scientific back then.
It's the steampunk turtle.
Yes.
Tortoise.
Yes, very steampunky with some goggles and a sweet top hat with a gear on it.
This guy definitely goes to conventions.
He does.
All right, 300 pounds is my final answer.
919 pounds for the modern Galapagos tortoise, though the average across all of them, because some are larger, some are smaller, is around 400 pounds
Dang.
And the
that thing would
males-
truck you.
The males are larger than females. Males will average the 400 to 500. Females will average the 300 to 400. That's a 100-pound difference in just sheer tortoise.
Can you imagine, even though the thing's going like 1 mile an hour and it decides to run into you, you're going down.
Yeah, it's like a
really
hefty bumper car.
It's like a really low bullet bill.
With his little punchy arms.
Oh my goodness.
There, Bullet Bill. That's exactly what he is.
Yeah. See, Darwin knew what was going on. Oh, is this one of
The
the
diet.
Is this a saddle one then?
This one I believe would be considered the saddle one.
Okay. That guy's like real suspicious looking. He's like, what are you taking my picture for? I didn't sign a release. All right, what are these guys? Okay, do I have to guess what they eat? Is that how this works?
Yeah.
If
Go
you
ahead and guess what they eat.
If you lived in the sewers of New York, it would be pizza.
If you lived in the sewers of New York, it would be pizza.
What do they eat? What a regular they bugs. I think they eat bugs and grass and small fish.
So they are herbivores, consuming cacti, grasses, leaves, lichens, which are
This
mosses.
looks like a guy that eats cactus. It's like, how many spines are in what you ate for dinner today? None? I thought so. Wimp. That is a happy cactus.
That is a happy cactus.
He doesn't know what's coming. If he knew that tortoise is coming for him, he would not have that smile.
He would not. They also eat berries, melons, oranges, and milkweed.
No warts on that guy.
No warts on that guy. They get most of their moisture from the dew and sap in the vegetation that they eat. So they don't have to go trucking back and forth, making a year-long trek to get some delicious water.
Man, that would be annoying.
So how long do you think they can go without food or fresh water?
Oh, 3 months.
They can go up to sometimes over a year without food or fresh water.
Dang!
They break down the fat in their body to survive, breaking it down to consume calories. As a byproduct, creates water.
These guys are like pro-level camels. They're like, oh, camels can go like 20 minutes without water. If these guys are in the I would rather ride a sea turtle across the desert than a camel. I know that sounds ridiculous, but in context, this is going to make total sense.
Yeah?
All right, so pretty standard turtle-sounding diet to me, it seems.
Predators!
Oh, that's a little itty-bitty turtle boy.
It is a little itty-bitty turtle boy.
Tortoise.
Tortoise boy. Naturally occurring predators. This is pre-discovery. Like, people knew they were there.
Oh,
but,
so this is like the History Channel, not the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, pre-European discovery.
Okay.
European, Spaniard.
So their predators would be killer whales.
Oh, killer whales. Oh, boy.
What else? That's okay, shark, but
Okay, well, here's their
oh,
spots.
you did it.
There you
Okay.
go.
What else? I mean, like really, really, really big birds.
Nope.
Oh, killer whales are a thing though that do eat them.
No.
Oh well, you didn't? Okay.
Here's a big bird with the tickle me feet.
Okay. Well, I mean, this thing's the size of a small car. What would eat a small car? Alligators.
Nope.
Nothing eats them. Nothing could possibly hunt these things.
You are correct.
Yeah, I did it. I figured it out.
They have no naturally occurring predators as an adult. It's all people. Hatchlings have one natural predator.
Birds.
Yes. A very
Yeah.
specific Galapagos hawk
That's jerk.
that is also declining, so they're matching the rates of their decline.
Well, that sounds like justice to me.
And then non-native animals are also a harm to hatchlings.
It's a little one.
Their decline, it was very rapid, came from overexploitation for their meat and oil.
Tortoise oil.
Yes. Habitat clearing for agriculture. Non-native animals like rats, goats, and pigs.
I could not. Watching a goat chase a tortoise sounds like the most absurd thing.
The goat wouldn't be chasing the tortoise. The goat was eating the very low vegetation and up to as far as it could reach.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yes.
The image of a goat chasing a tortoise is still funny to me. Okay.
On at least 3 of the 7 islands, they've become extinct strictly due to humans.
Why are we such jerks?
Because we're terrible. As adults, what do you think the highest mortality cause is?
Pollution.
No.
Boats.
Nope.
Nets.
Nope.
Tipping over.
Yes.
What? Really?
Falling accidents and getting stuck is the highest mortality rate of the giant Galapagos tortoises.
When the joke answer is the real answer is when this totally falls apart for me.
So back in Darwin's days, when he was talking to natives of the region, he would ask, what hunts these, what kills these? He's like, well, sometimes we hunt them for their food and whatever. But most of the time, we just find the big ones dead, like they've fallen off of cliffs, they've gotten stuck between rocks.
Can you imagine? You're just walking to work one day and you get like wedged in somewhere and you're like, this is how I die.
This is it. Well, here's the thing. They can survive over a year without food and water, so they're stuck there for at least a year.
And nobody going by helps them? So it's not the fact that they get stuck or tip over, it's that other tortoises are dicks.
Tortoises will help flip each other over if they are able.
Okay.
So
that's real sad. So don't tip over. They need tortoise life alert.
They do. Tortoises are the prime example of life alert.
The literal fallen and can't get up.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Breeding! Everyone's favorite!
Oh my goodness. I thought they were just having a good old gymnastics session, but this is something completely different.
This is something completely different.
Oh, okay.
All right, how old do you think they are when they reach sexual maturity?
Well, they live to be
in captivity.
They live to be like a trillion, so I'm going to say like 49.
40 in the wild.
What? Oh my goodness. The 40-year-old virgin was actually about tortoises.
It was. And 20 to 25 in captivity.
Oh, it's all those fluorescent light bulbs.
Roasting them up.
Yeah, they're activating those hormones early.
So mating happens anytime during the year, but it's peaked in February to June because that's when it's the most soggy there.
Oh. Yuck. Okay, and I'm gonna guess like they lay like 30 eggs at a time.
No.
No, 4 eggs at a time.
No.
In between that, 17 eggs at a time.
16 eggies.
See, I somehow always find the horrible limit on either side, and then you just gotta split the difference.
That is true. The female will lay up to 16 hard-shelled spherical eggs, so they look like white pool billiards.
Interesting.
In a hole that they dug on the shore, and they fill it up. Depending on the heat, determines if more males or females will hatch.
Ah.
More males will hatch in cooler weather, and more females in hotter weather.
That makes sense. A female of every species likes it warm.
It is true. So their long necks are used to help find a mate. Males compete with other males.
Is this so they can see up over everybody else, like, oh, what's going on over here?
It helps them eat food.
Oh, well. Whatever.
But the long necks, they believe, is also in part to, if they have long necks, they can get better food and more food. So the longer the neck is, the better
advantage.
mates.
Yeah, whatever. We're gonna have giraffe tortoises pretty soon.
Yeah, probably. So they'll compete with other males in a show of long, sexy neckiness with open mouths.
That's a tongue. Long, sexy neckiness. Long, sexy neckiness. You say it 3 times fast, Internet. It's not possible.
It's not. With open mouths. They don't really make a sound when they're competing, but generally the one with the shorter neck will just back off. Occasionally there's biting, so they'll like swing their goofy club heads and hit each other.
Yeah. Tortoises fighting is probably going to be hilarious.
So we're on to status, and here is exactly what I described to you.
They both look like they just stepped on Legos.
Oh, ouch!
Oh my goodness. So I'll say this. If I saw this happening, I would be terrified. Because this thing's like a 6-foot-long brachiosaur that moves at 1 mile a year, but it's also like aggressively trying to like reproduce. That sounds like a combination that I don't want to be anywhere near.
Same.
Status. So
On
endangered.
to status. Though they're rebounding, all species of Galapagos tortoise are listed as vulnerable and or threatened.
Okay.
A lot of conservation effort is going into repopulating the islands.
Okay.
Because each one is so specific to different islands, they have to repopulate each island individually.
Okay, that makes sense. If people stop being jerks.
Yes, that is the moral of most of these videos.
Yep.
So we're moving on to lore. We don't have any regional lore for them.
Okay, fair enough.
Fun facts. Do you know who that is?
That is a guy having a staring contest with a tortoise.
This is a man who watched over Lonesome George for 40 years.
Oh, dang. George's best buddy.
40 years. Yes, that was George's best buddy. They had a very strong relationship. They hung out every day, so it would make sense. His name is, I'm going to pronounce this poorly and I apologize, Fausto Llerena.
It's Fausto.
Llerena. That's this guy.
Fausto and George.
Fausto and George.
A love forged through the ages. I mean, he can't be lonesome if he's got Fausto.
But he was lonesome because for a very long time, he was the last of his species.
Oh no, this isn't a fun fact, this is a terrible fact.
Yes. Lonesome George died in June of 2012.
Oh, I think I heard about this.
He originated from Pinta Island.
And he was like a gajillion years old.
He was super old. So counting the rings on giant tortoise shells means absolutely nothing.
I thought I was gonna be like, oh, they're just like trees. You're like, counting the rings means jack shit. What you really need to do is watch them when they're born, and then you know how old they are.
That's basically it.
So there's no way to actually tell how old they are? Oh, well, there you go. I knew a fact.
Yeah, because the rate of growth on their shells has nothing to do with what they're eating, the weather. It's not reliable enough to be used as a source.
Interesting.
Some sources they did use. Darwin took one as a pet. I believe the captain of the ship he was on took one as a pet, and the captain's slave had one as a pet. And they all outlived everybody.
Tortoises aren't messing around.
They are not. They also didn't know how old they were when they picked them up, but they got them as pretty small because they just traveled around with them places.
That had to be like the best voyage ever.
I mean, possibly. They are the largest living species of tortoise in all the lands, not just the 7 of them right next to each other. They are poor swimmers, but they're extremely buoyant. So they basically just...
floaty boys.
Yeah, they're very floaty boys. They extend their necks above the water
Just periscope action.
to breathe, and they just float along currents.
Man, what a life. We're doing it wrong.
We are. So the divergence between the different species is linked directly to the volcanic formations of the Galapagos.
Oh, so as new islands would form and they would migrate there, that's where they would split?
Yep.
Look at that, Darwinian evolution.
Darwinian evolution.
Who would have thought?
They would float over, they wouldn't swim, they'd just be like, there's new rocks, and just hop in the drink and go, hope I make it. Start a new population, and then when another island formed and started getting vegetation, they'd be like, that looks good too. Hop in and tootle on over.
I mean, if they could survive a year without food or fresh water, they could float anywhere.
Yes.
That's crazy.
They can live up to 100 years in the wild, or 170 in captivity.
Dang.
So they're old boys. Okay, guess how fast they move?
1 mile an hour.
No.
Is it faster than that?
No.
Oh my gosh. 0.1 miles an hour.
You're close. 0.2 miles per hour.
They're never going back in time.
0.2! If they went back in time, they'd only be a foot backwards.
No wonder they had to live so long. It takes them forever to get anywhere.
Yeah. The islands were named after the inhabitants, the tortoises. It translates to Islands of the Tortoise.
Oh, cool.
That is pretty cool. 10 of the original 15 species survive in the wild on their own, with the 11th only having one member left named Lonesome George. And he was the most recent species to go extinct.
That's...
As we were speaking
yeah.
of. As per usual, not fun fact to end on.
Yeah.
They can store water in their bodies via the bladder. People would take their urine and dilute it to drink. And the pericardium, or the root of the neck, which made an excellent water source on ships and also as food. Because they didn't move fast. They weren't ever trying to really escape. So it was just food and water just roaming around in the bottom storage of the deck.
I don't like this fact.
And that's the main reason of their decline. Was people on ships being like, I want that. But they're making an excellent rebound. Again, they are endangered and or threatened listed. But they're making a good rebound. They release juveniles nearly every year. back onto their islands to do their thing.
I can't wait until Popular George comes into existence.
Popular George.
Yep,
They
so many
did-
friends.
They did try, because they're all at some point related to each other, they did try breeding Lonesome George with other tortoises. It didn't result in anything.
Okay.
Because they all do look very similar. Zoos, back in the day, would have a bunch of them, but from different islands. So they would all hang out together, but they would only mate with the same species.
Okay, interesting.
There has been crossbreeding. There's hope, people!
Well, I learned a lot about tortoises today, and most of it is just sad.
As with most animals, yes.
But they're pretty awesome, so stop being jerks to tortoises, and I might be able to beat one in a race.
Possible.
We'll see.
We'll see. Thanks for joining us today on Stuff Lab, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Vaya con Dios.